As you've heard, my name is Kip Yego. I lead product marketing for IBM's AI generative platform known as Watson X. So naturally, what I'll be talking to you about today is around generative AI. And to say that generative AI was the topic du jour last year, I think is an understatement. Most of us had numerous conversations around generative AI. In fact, I would say that the question was not, are you doing anything with generative AI? It was, what are you doing with generative AI? In some of the interesting use cases that I've heard of that I just wanted to share as I share this screen is, one is a toothbrush. There is a toothbrush by Oral-B that apparently has AI in it to help you clean your teeth much better, provides you feedback as you brush your teeth. Another interesting use case, this is interesting, was on composing music. So this is a partnership between Bentley and LifeScore, where they'll have a model, they have a model built and embedded in the vehicle such that as you drive, it will adapt and create music and adapt to your scene and how you're driving. Think of it as a soundtrack designed just for you. AI pasta in Germany and in South Korea, leveraging ChatGPT to create messages and providing some spiritual counseling to folks. Although I found it interesting that one of the feedback they had was there were some reports that the AI service left many feeling spiritually unfulfilled. Animal lovers, there is a AI, this is in Japan, where they created an app for detecting pain in your cats. And apparently this has a 90% success rate, and I was very curious about this, and indeed it is there. They have 43,000 users as of its launch in 2023. And then finally, this is an interesting one. One of my coworkers mentioned that their son was utilized ChatGPT to create an essay. However, his son had the wherewithal to ask ChatGPT to do it in a way that it sounds like a 12-year-old. So my boss, or rather my colleague, was not sure whether to be impressed or upset, but suffice to say that there have been many, many use cases, utilizations around ChatGPT. When we pan out, one of the things that we'll see with generative AI is the global or the macroeconomic impact. I will not necessarily go through each and every of those statistics, but I'll just point to the one on your left. 80% of enterprises surveyed are working with or are planning to leverage foundation models or generative AI within their business processes. And one more statistic. I don't mean to bore you to death with statistics, but I think this is an indication of just how much generative AI impacted the market. ChatGPT, when released, hit the 100 million mark within a span of 2 months. To provide some context, Instagram, I think, took 30 months, and Uber took 70 months. So naturally, I think the question that arises is, we've had AI for a while. What is it about generative AI that is different? And the three things that I'll point out, or at least I'll submit to you. One is the accessibility. This is no longer about machine learning engineers and AI teams in the background creating these models, but they've been made accessible to all of us. And then there's the augmentation aspect of it. So I think there is a fear at times that this is replacing, but I think the right way to think about it is augmentation. And then the third item really is that there's a cost component. And as we'll see, yes, it can be expensive, but initially it's something that is part of the access. It's very accessible and therefore makes it easy for many to adopt it. Now the question though is, beyond experimentation, what does this mean for businesses? And so my thought today was to look at some use cases, look at how IBM is going about implementing generative AI with our clients, and then glean from that, what are some of the considerations that arise, and how do they apply to us as product marketers? So these are three we call them high impact use cases. By no means are these exhaustive, but these are those repeatable patterns that we keep seeing. The first one is around digital talent or HR. So lots of automation around different use cases within the talent field. Think of performance management, talent acquisition. So we're seeing many of our clients who are utilizing generative AI to outsource these functions to these models or to these applications. The other area where we're seeing lots of application or lots of utilization is customer care or customer service. And this is probably the one that most of us have encountered at some point or the other. If you are on the Product Marketing Alliance website, I think you saw, is it Simon or Hannah's chat pop up to ask you if they could help you with your process. And so this is one of those use cases that we see many clients using as a starting point. And this might actually beg the question, I know that chatbots have been around for a while. What is special about generative AI? And I actually think this is a good use case that shows the evolution or the difference between traditional ML and generative AI. In this particular context, what we noticed or what we see is that the foundation models are more responsive. They understand nuance better. In the older model, you had a model that was trained for a particular use case. You had a short tail set of questions. You had ground truth and the corpus that was used to respond to the questions that you received. And what happened is if anything was outside of that corpus, you had to be handed over to a human being. With generative AI, the models respond and understand nuance better, and so the resolutions are happening much higher with very little deflection. And then the last use case that we see with IBM, one of the high impact use cases, is around app modernization. So we know many organizations are facing a constituency within the organizations that is leaving the workforce. And so some cases you need application or code generation, or you have code refactoring and reconstituting code. And so that's another area where we're seeing many use cases.